Hey, good morning. It's Coffee with Big Cat. Mm-hmm. So, don't be defensive, okay? Don't be defensive. I'm not telling you how to live your life with anything I'm about to say. I'm not trying to change your mind about anything. I'm just going to share one man's experience and you do with it what you will, okay? Um, when I went off to go to EMT school, before I went, I had to get my CPR card, and I learned I think it was 20 compressions, 5 rescue breaths, and I got my card. I got my CPR AED card for professional rescuers, and then I was able to sign up for EMT school. And when I first got to EMT school, our preceptors, one of the things they were talking about was they said, yeah, these are the current CPR guidelines, but they might change soon because Phoenix Fire Department has been experimenting with other stuff with just compressions, no rescue breaths, and they're getting interesting results. And but the guidelines have not been rewritten yet, and don't change the way you're doing CPR yet because the current guidelines are what's going to be on the National Registry exam by the time you get there. So this is what you learned. What you learned it at the and when you got your card, that's all correct. And then within a week or two, they came in and said, nope, the guidelines have changed. They've changed them. Um, Continue doing it the old way because that's what's going to be on your test. But by the time you get out in the field, it's going to be different CPR guidelines. And I remember the teachers were like, and it's really different than what we were doing before. But and that's it's shocking, but medicine is science, and science is based on the best available evidence, and the best available evidence changes as more evidence comes in, and that's just part of medicine. And I was like, wow, right? It seems so normal now, but at the time it seemed kind of alien to me, and I'll tell you why. But the point being, there suddenly was a corner in my life where things had to be evidence based for professional, legal, and moral reasons. You can't give somebody an untried treatment. You have to give them a treatment that most likely will work based on most outcomes, based on the best available evidence. I'm here to tell you there's no aromatherapy candles on the ambulance. Okay, I promised myself I wasn't going to go there so fast, but I went there pretty fast. Um, and just getting evidence-based thinking into one corner of my mind, it sat there and festered and just kind of did its own thing in one corner down there until I started to make some other changes, like started getting into the habit of checking expiration dates on medicine, and I adopted a new practice, which was if it was expired, I wouldn't take it. I thought, why would I give myself a lesser level of care than I would a complete stranger? So I started throwing out expired meds. Wouldn't take them. Wouldn't take them. Um, and then Karen had a really bad gallstone attack. Karen, can I talk about your gallstone attack on video? I'll talk to you later. Um, and her doctor said she needed to get her gallbladder removed surgically. She was going to have to go in, get it removed. And Karen said to me, what should I do? Looking to me more as husband than medical professional, because I was just an EMT at that point. Now the answer is obvious. It's you do what your doctor says. If you don't trust your doctor, you go find another doctor. But she came to me as her husband, but also because we had been so steeped in so many types of alt health ideas for so long, particularly when we were living in New York City and didn't have health insurance. If you don't have access to antibiotics, you really gotta believe that echinacea is gonna do something. And I was all in with the alt health stuff. I really was. I was all about herbs. I was all about chi. I was all about, you name it, I was into it. I even occasionally purchased homeopathic products, though that was kind of my outer edge. That was, I would read, wait, it's got this ingredient that doesn't do anything, but it's okay because there's so little of it in there that There's no active ingredient. What? Like, even as credulous as I was, I couldn't quite get there. That was the outer edge. That was like the Atlantis of alt health for me. You know, like, oh yeah, trans-channeling remote viewing, yeah, whatever. Atlantis? Oh, I gotta go. Atlantis, homeopathy is the Atlantis of alt health for me. So because we were into this alt health stuff, Karen had once, previously when she was having gallstone attacks, we'd been going to this alternative health practitioner, and he had recommended that she do this gallbladder detox thing that involved eating lots of apples and drinking some olive oil, and then bad stuff comes out of you, and they say, oh yeah, that's your gallstone. See, there's your gallstones. And yeah, weird stuff comes out. You can say, oh, it's a gallstone. You know, who knows what a gallstone looks like? But she had done this treatment before, and it seemed to give her some relief. So she was asking me, what should I do? Should I go drink a bunch of olive oil, or should I go have surgery? And I was worried sick about her. This was high stakes. So I started sitting at the Google machine, and I started Googling all this stuff. And, you know, first thing I started tossing out any results from somebody who was trying to sell me something. You know, went lots of, published studies. And I was all in at this point. I was thinking, well, you know, the pharmaceutical companies, they can't patent olive oil. That's why they're the ones that fund the New England Journal of Medicine. They're the one, it was deep. So I looked at all these studies that said, yeah, it doesn't do anything. But then I found people who were really trying to make the case that this thing was going to work, and they were kind of disappointed to find out that it doesn't work. That there were even tests where they took the weird things that people were pooping out and tested them and said, yeah, they're not gallstones. So the more I looked into it, the the vast majority of published findings said that at that time, the result for, the treatment for this condition is to get your gallbladder removed. And I told her, you gotta get your gallbladder removed, and she did. And I'm not going to tell you, oh, and then it all worked out perfectly, because that would be an anecdote, and anecdotal data is not data, right? So that evidence-based way of thinking continued to fester in the greatest of ways in the back of my mind, and I've started using it on everything, and I don't recommend it for everybody. I recommend it for everybody, but I don't recommend it for everybody. I do recommend it for everybody. When I started demanding that reality provide evidence, wild stuff happened. One of the first things that happened was a lot of my ego got really, really challenged, because a lot of my cherished beliefs went down in flames, and I was wrong about so much stuff, and that was very, very difficult to take. And this is all by way of setup. I'm going to talk about some of the things I'm wrong about, some of the things I'm not certain about, and some of the things I'm certain about and why I'm certain about them. But the thing I have also found is that once you get over that hurt ego thing of being wrong about stuff and start getting used to questioning everything and wanting evidence for everything and taking your best, most reasonable thought about anything, your ego gets diminished and bruised, but life becomes safer. And I don't just mean safer because you're not trying batshit crazy, unproven medical procedures when you could be getting actual medicine. I don't mean that. I mean, it gets more stable. The ground you're walking on becomes more stable. It's a great way to live. It is a great, great, great way to live. I can't say enough about methodological naturalism, about skepticism. It is the best thing I've ever found. Your mileage may vary. You do as you see fit. I'm just saying. So the thought for the day, God damn it, I forgot to be funny. Well, the homeopathy stuff was a little bit funny, but for the most part, just sort of bloviating. Anyways, see this skinny tie? When I first had to get a day job, that was indoors. I had to go buy a tie, and I got a skinny tie. And I remember one of the guys I was working with busting my chops saying, "Oh, you should be wearing wide ties." And I said, well, I wear a skinny tie because I like skinny ties. You wear a wide tie because the boss wears a wide tie. I said, I shut him. Here's the thought for the day. You owe it to your beliefs to question them. Don't baby your ideas. Don't pamper anything in your head. Don't give any idea special privilege over any other idea. If you hold a belief dearly, if you cherish it, you owe it to that belief, and you owe it to yourself to not baby that idea, but to crash test it. Crash test it. Always look at the opposite. Do this with politics. Do this with politics. If a politician you hate says something, test it. What if a politician I'd like said that? And vice versa. That's a way to really gut check yourself. Oh my God, it's Friday. I've really talked a lot. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I finally got the subscribe button down there. I think it's down in that corner or that corner. I forget, but it's a little tiny button down in the corner if you're on YouTube. It's been a pleasure chatting with you as always. I will see you if you're watching in real time as these come out. It's Friday. I'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Challenge your own thinking.